mean, firstly, I'd say, Andrew, congratulations. You've actually someone that's taking action. A lot of people are too scared to invest, and that holds them back. They're paralysed by fear. The fact that I assume you've taken a line of credit against your unit that's gone up in value, and you've decided to invest that in managed funds. So that's great. I mean, obviously, you put it at a time the market's gone down, that can be a little bit unsettling. But as Mike said, you know, if you're in it for the long term, that shouldn't bother you too much. The only other option you've got, I mean, you either rely on other people to manage your money, or you can become a more educated investor, invest that money yourself. And that's your two options. Obviously, the more educated you are, then you can, if you're confident you can make a higher return than someone else managing your money, then that gives you some additional choices. But that's really up to you as an individual. But there's certainly other things that you can do outside of a managed fund as far as generating extra cash flow and things like that, that I certainly share with a lot of my clients, such as share renting and things like that. But at this point in time, the managed fund, the market's gone down. You probably don't want to be pulling that money out right now. You probably want to wait till the market recovers and then consider, if you want to become an educated investor, what else you can do to speed up your results.
All right, good luck to you, Andrew. Our next caller on the line is Helen from South Australia. Hi there, Helen.
Hello. Hello, Jamie. How are you? I have read your book and I love your DVD. I have been involved in real estate and... am I talking now?
Yes, you're live on air, Helen. What's your question for our panel?
I'm looking at shares now. Is it a good time to invest in shares after this big downhill market that we've had? But today things are looking up.
Yeah, it's all over the place, isn't it? This is a good question. It's a pretty generic one, but she's got a point. Is it a good time or isn't it? Jamie, what do you think?
Yeah, well, Helen, it's a very common question. Most people in the country are probably asking the same question right now. Well, you've got to look at it. The market is down. I mean, is it a good time to invest in shares now versus probably definitely a better time now than it was 3 or 4 months ago at the top of the market? So if you look at it in the sense that the market is better valued now, there's much more better buying opportunities. I guess as an investor, you've got to decide, do you think the market's bottomed or should you wait a little bit longer? That's a judgment call you've got to weigh up, and obviously no one knows that. You can, the market will do whatever the market's going to do. All you've got to focus on what you can do to execute better decisions to take advantage of opportunities. So right now, the market's a better buying time than it was 3 or 4 months ago, but whether you do it now or whether you wait a little bit longer and see when the market's bottom. Yeah,
Mike, guessing the market is a trap, isn't it?
We'd all have made a lot of money if we'd have been able to guess exactly where the market would be at any time. Helen, I think the advice I'd give you probably is that if you're in it for probably the medium term, you're not looking for a short-term bit of speculation in the market, it's very difficult, as Jamie said, to pick where the bottom of the market might be. It is much better value in the market right now than it was 3 or 4 months ago. I think in these volatile times we're going to see some days are going to be positive, some days are going to be negative, and most commentators on the market would say that we're going to see this for some time. So one day, unfortunately, isn't going to make the turnaround in the market. If you're interested in being in the market and getting some long-term gains out of the market, then clearly I think the share market presents some good value at the moment. Probably look at a broader range of stocks than perhaps a very small range of stocks. That will minimise the risk. And again, history shows that if you are in the market for a reasonable period of time, you'll certainly get some good gains from your investment.
Let's go straight to our next caller. Cassandra from Brisbane's waiting on the line. Hi, Cassandra.
Good evening, all. How are you going?
We're all well, thank you. How can we try and assist you this evening?
Yeah, look, I've got my children. I've always had them half bank and half spend whenever they've been given money. And now my 14-year-old's got quite a bit in the bank. He's seeing us invest and do our portfolio and make it work well. And he's actually asking us to create a portfolio for him. But at 14, he's way too young. So how can we go about creating an investment for him?
Got to give platitudes to that family, don't you, Jamie?
Definitely taking action. I couldn't quite hear everything that you're saying.
Yeah, basically what Cassandra was saying was that she's always encouraged her children to half spend, half save. That now her 14-year-old has built up quite a decent amount of savings, wants to do a portfolio, obviously is too young to do so. So how should they go about organising that?
I think, credit to taking action, encouraging savings and things like that. I think what I would do is a lot of people do now is a lot of the parents work with their children to actively invest together. And I think that's a great opportunity. If he's built up some money, wants to start investing, is maybe working with parents, whether using parents' equity to take advantage of that to invest in property or to invest in the share market. I think there's opportunities to work together, and I think a lot of parents these days want to see their children investing as opposed to going out and borrowing money for a car, which only goes down in value, where an investment property or portfolio can double in value over time.
Yeah, what do you think, Mike?
Oh, Nita, look, Cassandra, congratulations. I think it's a great habit to instill in your children. A couple of options here, I guess. If you're comfortable, depends what investment you might be comfortable with investing. If it was your money making the investment, to teach the children about perhaps the stock market. There's a number of options here in terms of managed funds. Probably too small, I'd say, at this age about property, but certainly property funds are available. I think you start simple and you build it up from there, but if the interest is perhaps the share market, talk to someone who can give you a little bit of advice about perhaps a basket of shares to invest in, and I think that's a great way to start and to build on from there.
Yeah, so what should parents be doing to educate their kids?
Look, I think first and foremost is to try and teach your kids about the value of money and the worth of money. For instance,
is that a good basis, though, that the half save, half spend that Cassandra from Brisbane has installed in her kids?
Well, I don't think you're ever going to get children to save everything you give them.
Yeah.
And certainly the pocket money that we give our kids, they're pretty keen to go and save up, usually for goals, short-term goals. It might be a Nintendo DS game or something of that nature, or software or what have you. But I think getting the concept of being able to save towards even short-term goals is a good one to start. And then as you get older, perhaps longer-term goals. Also working for reward. And my very first job I had that I earned some sort of income was something that probably doesn't exist these days, a milk run. And I think I was about 13 years old, but it taught me how to save money.
I think you can still do a paper run, Mike, somewhere out there.
And it taught me how to save money. And reward for effort. And I think, the work ethic and the reward that you get for that, and then what you do with that reward is a great ethic to instill in as young as possible.
And Jamie, do you agree with that strategy?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the idea of saving 50%, spending 50%, it's all about linking pain and pleasure. Most people link pain to saving. That's why they don't do it. I mean, they try and convince themselves to do it, but whenever we link pain at a subconscious level, we'll avoid it. But if we can link pleasure to it, we'll do it. So the idea that you can save some and also spend some, the pleasure is spending now, but also saving some spend for the future. So it's making yourself motivated to do it, because we have to follow through and consistently do it. And most people know logically we should save 10% of our income, but how many people do it?
And what about then the other aspect, which is the pleasure of spending somebody else's money, i.e. the banks, i.e. credit cards, and then the pain you get when you get the bill and the interest? That's a trap, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's what people think I often have the saying that short-term pleasure often leads to long-term pain. And with money, it's absolutely that. The reason most people aren't financially successful is not because they can't be in a wealthy country like Australia, but it's because they link massive pleasure to spending and pain to saving. I used to be like that, and then I changed it when one of my millionaire mentors simply said to me, Jamie, he said, if you can't learn to save, you can't live your dreams. And I linked massive pleasure to living my dreams. So in that moment, I switched what I linked pain and pleasure to. I started immediately to link pleasure to saving and pain to spending in the short term.
Okay, it's interesting advice. We're going to go to a break and we'll be back with more of your questions for our expert panel in just a minute. Don't go away.